We can wait.
Yeah. You guys are, thanks for hanging in there. Appreciate
British
you.
Standard Time.
So we're streaming now. Okay, good.
Head on up. Yeah, if you head towards Keystone and turn left, look for the flagpole. We're not too far off the road.
Is Roxanne there?
Gone too far.
She's not.
Michael, did he make it?
Okay, call me if you get lost.
I think they're going to be watching on the stream.
Oh, good. All right. So only Melissa will be there from the family and Linda.
And Linda.
Great.
She to drop in.
Now,
And
what-
Linda has a couple of friends.
oh, so really, we won't be able to see the people, just you and I. Ah, right on.
So all these people
They're seeing us now on YouTube.
Ah, cool. You have books behind you. I have booze. So
Yes.
it's the best lit place in my house. So
Yeah. Well, that's important.
No, not at all. Oh my God. You got the patience of a
Yeah, right?
I said, we're all standing.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, it's not, you did not sound like that when you said that. You said we're all here.
If I was
Yeah,
usually
Google for it, man. It's gonna be better for that particular.
they were waiting, I said, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, me
I'll
too.
promise.
I prefer just Apple's interface.
you know, is it? I'm wondering if Max was a Levi, and therefore David would be a Levi. I don't know why that's ringing a bell in my mind, but I'm gonna ask.
I don't know. They
I'll
didn't
ask
say
later.
when
They
I
didn't
asked.
say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. Those are great colors.
I'm glad it's not snowing.
Oh, I know. What a blessing.
Beautiful. The last nice day.
Yes.
It's almost
Can
like
you
David
see?
himself with the sea.
He's seeing that way, right?
Yes. He's seeing the
good.
graveside.
Oh,
So how it's going to work is you guys are going to be here so you can see them speak.
yeah.
This is what the people on YouTube are seeing.
Oh,
So they're seeing Cantor's lovely face, and and I love that you guys are so lighthearted. And then once we proceed with the lowering of the casket, we'll click on this, and this is what YouTube will see. But
Yeah.
they'll see this in the corner.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Yes.
Is there a Jewish section of the cemetery? No.
You know, I don't think so. If there's a Jewish section here.
I think it's non-denominational.
In that part of the country, everybody is Jewish there. It's perfect.
Whatever.
Joanne said from town hall, said
Hey,
it was.
Katie,
Uh-huh.
you can hear me?
I can.
Do you have Korea ribbon for Melissa?
We do have Korea. I'll grab one.
Okay. And maybe we can do that first.
Okay,
You
perfect.
think Linda might want one? Just
We can ask her.
Sure, I'll take one. I don't know what it is, but I'll take one.
I'll explain.
Sounds
I'll
beautiful.
explain.
Well, I wish you were here so we didn't have to look at you like this, but yeah, what's a Korea ribbon?
That's beautiful. Yeah,
That
is
is
gorgeous.
No, it's going the other way.
Very pretty.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Let me see.
So, thanks for getting pictures. I'll like
But
them
it's a
later.
stone for both of us, so he's in the middle of two plots. And then I had the other three.
I didn't bring my camera because this is so much easier, faster, right away.
Paul's in the one, I'll be in two, she is empty.
You guys, she's close.
No,
Okay.
Dave's going.
Yeah, I mean, it's up for it.
I have till 2:15, so I think we're okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, just stay on Highway
Okay.
6.
Here comes somebody. Maybe this is her.
They put her at town hall. Yeah, that's her.
Driving like a bat out of hell.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I decided not to say it, but yeah.
Good Lord, slow down.
That sounds like Melissa.
She's coming.
I think it is.
Okay, Rabbi, I have the Korea.
So once Melissa gets here, you can give it to her and I can explain it to Linda too in case she wants to participate.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Sure.
Okay, great. I have them ready for whenever she arrives.
That's
Okay.
her.
Thank you
Oh,
very
that's her.
much.
You-
No. 107, not too bad. Could have been a lot
Oh, she's
worse.
doing great. You know what? It makes us feel better
That's
because
right.
you
That's
know
right. And it's a beautiful day to stand out here and
it
soak up
is.
some vitamin D.
Soak up the sun. It's gorgeous. It's pure. Oh, it's very much more slower paced and more relaxed than the city. So
Yes.
it's a good break.
Looks like she brought someone
Plus
with
the
her.
business you're in must be very busy also.
It's been rough.
I bet.
It's been very difficult. We've been just trying our best to stay sane and healthy, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you know, we've had a really difficult time with it. So Jim, who is working with you, is now indisposed because of COVID. So that's why I'm out here. You know, he traded it off to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna do my best. I think I mean I've interacted with Melissa.
Yeah, you're perfect already.
Well,
So thank you.
you. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys being out here and bringing the flowers and
Yeah.
helping with the casket. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a huge
Sure.
honor and something that he can never, you know, repay you for. So
Thank you.
Well, he's our guy.
Yeah.
I love it. He seemed like he was real cool.
God, you have snow up there. Wow.
I saw it too.
Yeah,
Hey guys.
Hello.
I recognize that voice.
Hi. Yeah. We're gonna talk to the rabbi and Marty.
I'm gonna switch it
Marty?
over so we can do a Kriya. You're Melissa.
Yeah.
right? I'm Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Marty.
Hi, Melissa. Glad you made it.
Here we go.
Ah,
Let me know when we're ready to proceed with Kriya.
Rabbi.
hi. So, I know that you just got there, and I take a breath, make a transition from kind of driving out, and I know we're kind of jumping forward, but before we start and bring everybody together, we should start with Kriya. Kriya is this tradition where we take one of those ribbons and place it on the right side over, you know, on our lapel or on something that we're wearing. And we're going to say a blessing. And then after we say the blessing, I'll say the Hebrew words. You could say it after me.
Okay.
You're going to tear it from the bottom up. But when you do this tearing, and this again is one of our most ancient of traditions, when you do that tearing, you never tear a piece off. You're just going to be tearing it upwards because Dave's never going to be severed from you. That's our spiritual idea, our tradition. He's never going to be severed from you. But when we wear this for the next number of days, if you choose, when the tradition says to wear one of these ribbons, or in many communities and still certainly in olden days, we would tear our garments themselves. It tells people that what you see on the outside is how you feel on the inside, and you should be gentle with us. So I hope that this is going to be a week of people being gentle for you, for Roxanne, for Mike, who are part of the stream. And you all can say these words after me. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Eloheinu
Melech
melech ha'olam, Dayan
Dayan
ha'emet.
HaEmet.
Yes, we praise you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, the one true judge. And now you can take it from the bottom and you can tear it upwards. And for Mike and Roxanne who are watching, if you have these by now,
Can you hear it?
you can
Yeah, it's
tear them
There
upward.
you
Just a little bit. That's all you need to do. Okay? Okay. So
Do we
now
wanna
you
be-
can take a breath and we'll start whenever folks there are ready.
You ready?
We're ready.
And it's on for other people to watch.
Yes,
too.
it is.
Yeah.
It's live right now. And
Okay.
I just wanted to
Okay.
ask, did you want to proceed with a song, or do we want to begin with Rabbi? Maybe play it at the end.
Song at the end, maybe.
So you know what? I heard what you guys were going to do. So don't play a song because I'm going to sing while my guitar gently weeps.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Cantor.
you.
Thanks, Marty.
So
Thank you.
I will also sing a beautiful psalm right after that. But when she mentioned you were going to play George Harrison, you know, most people, when you ask them their favorite Beatle, they'll say Paul McCartney, of course, or John Lennon. But actually, George Harrison was my favorite because he was such a spiritual guy. Not that McCartney is not or Lennon wasn't, but George Harrison kind of wore it on his sleeve, as I'm sure Dave did as well. And this song, it's been recorded by a lot of other people, like Eric Clapton, who actually plays the solo on it. And so I'm going to sing just the first two verses of it, and then I'll sing, it's called Mizmor LeDavid, the 23rd Psalm. I look at you all, see the love there that's sleeping, while my guitar gently weeps. I look at the floor and I see it needs sweeping, still my guitar gently weeps. I don't know why nobody told you how to unfold your love. I don't know how. If someone controlled you, they bought and sold you. I look at the world and I notice it's turning while my guitar gently weeps. I just want to say a few things to the Sugar family, whom I've known for a long time and have seen you all through many different things in your lives. And your dad, Max, was a good buddy. Not only was he a minyaner, a regular at our minyan in the morning, but of course, a Shabbos regular. He came as often as he could. I even played tennis with him. I know he was a bit of a tennis freak like I am. And what was so cool about him and your mom, who I didn't really get to know, is they had a whole life in New Orleans, where you guys are from, right? And had picked ourselves up and moved to Colorado and started a whole new life here. And you guys, everything has gone since then. And I just want to make that beautiful connection between the soul of David, of David Ari, and your dad, who I knew so well, Menachem Yecheskel, and Ruth, your mom. I'd like to sing this 23rd Psalm, which speaks about God giving us rest beside still waters. And although it's associated with funerals, it's really part of the Shabbat Mincha. On Shabbos, when we take a nap, we ask for God to protect us, not only on Shabbat, but during the week and during our lives. So we hope that God takes David's soul to the next place that he's going, and it should be a good journey. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echsar, binoteshe yarbitzeni al menuchot yenaleni. Nafshi shorev yancheni v'magle tzedek Hoy leman shemo. Kama ki helech begetzal mavet. La irara. Ki ata imadi. Shivtecha. ומשענתך המה ינחמוני תערוך לבני שולחן נגד צורריי הישנת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה אכתב אשר ירדפוני כל ימי חיי ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
You know, these psalms that we begin to say show that the writer has similar emotions to us, that there could be moments of hurt and despair after loss or anxiety, and somehow after having a sense of God's presence, there's an ability to return to a place of strength and a place of hope. And that's what the psalm that you just heard and the psalms that we'll share in just a little bit all try and convey to us, all try and teach us, because this is a time of grief. So we listen to the voice of our sacred texts, our writers of psalms, who bring us that message of God's nearness. They tell us of our kinship with our Creator in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, and in life as in death. What you heard, the 23rd Psalm, this is the English. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want, giving me repose in green meadows, leading me beside still waters to revive my spirit, guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. Though I walk through a valley of deepest darkness, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your staff and your rod, they comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Holy One, now and forever. A piece from Psalm 16, Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid ki mimni bal emot, I've set the eternal always before me. God is at my side. I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult and my soul rejoice. My being is secure. You will not abandon me to death or let your faithful ones see destruction. You show me the path of life. Your presence brings fullness of joy. Enduring happiness is your gift. Adonai, mi yagor b'halecha, mishkon b'har kodshecha, holech tamim ufal tzedek, v'dover emet bilvavo. Adonai, who may abide in your house, who may dwell in your holy mountain, those who are upright, who do justly, who speak the truth within their hearts, who do not slander others or wrong them or bring shame upon them, but those who honor those who revere the Eternal One, who give their word and come what may, do not retract, don't exploit others, who never take bribes. Those who live in this way will never be shaken. And I know that the views that you are part of are comforting and inspiring. And it's a restful and comforting place, as a final resting place. Where we live, this psalm always means something a little bit different. Esa einai el harim, me'ain yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. I lift my eyes up into the mountains. What is the source of my help? My help comes from the Holy One, the maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps, but God's your guardian, your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day or the moon by night, but God will guard you, your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. There's a reading I wanted to share with you. As we were sitting the other day, Dave's family with Linda and Melissa, and we met with Roxanne and Mike, and the reading from another colleague goes like this. He taught that mourning is the price we pay for having the courage to love others. Even in grief, we know that the wonder of human life is too complex and too magnificent to be memorialized in endless pain. The gifts of spirit our loved ones gave us cannot be measured or weighed, nor can they be lost or even tarnished by time. Even in our darkest hours, we know that some of their light and their warmth will always be with us, bringing comfort and courage, and in the fullness of time, healing and peace. Another reading. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a going, a growing from stage to stage, from childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion and then perhaps to wisdom, from weakness to strength or strength to weakness and often back again, from health to sickness and back we pray to health again, from offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith, from defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backward or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the journey, stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning and death a destination, but life is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage, made stage by stage from birth to death to life everlasting. And one last reading. We know from Job, who in the Bible cried out, Adonai natan v'Adonai lekach, Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach. God has given and God has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Holy One. We, part of a Jewish community, are an ancient people. We're well acquainted with grief and with the valley of shadows. Death and sorrow are not strangers to us, and yet the centuries have taught us that a good name endures beyond the grave, and that there's strength and faith. With Job, we say, Adonai natan, God, you have given. You gave us a loved one who will never be forgotten. For all that was good and enduring in Dave's life, we offer the deepest thanks of our hearts. Job also said, Adonai lekach, God, you have taken away. The more I spend time with families like all of yours, the more I believe that God doesn't take, but God receives. God receives with love, with open arms. So we're going to pray for the strength to turn our broken hearts into an altar of trust before which we acknowledge God's love. And we say, Yehi Shem Adonai mevarach, blessed be the name of the Holy One, now and forever. I wanted to share some words because when I met with all of you and Tasia too, for sure, I met somebody really for the first time. I didn't know Dave, and certainly not at all, never met. But this is what I've learned. And starting with this celebration in the Jewish community that we're going to begin really just hours away tomorrow. The whole Jewish world, Jewish families, communities are going to be celebrating the festival of Hanukkah. Lighting the Hanukkah menorah, we recall the struggle 2,000 years ago when the light of our community was nearly extinguished, how our ancestors fought to keep that light burning, and how they succeeded in securing religious freedom for themselves and for the generations that would follow. And through their struggle, those Maccabees bequeathed to us the honor of rekindling those lights each and every season. For us, the lights of Hanukkah symbolize the lights of life, which we cherish, preserve, and enjoy throughout all our days. Well, Dave's years of life, while far too brief to be sure, they had a brightness. Also, they had a brightness that brought light and warmth to all who knew him. And although, like the Maccabees of old, his life was not without its struggles, very much like our ancestors, his life brought light into the lives of those whom he loved. And he too bequeaths the honor of rekindling those lights to us, to you, to those who knew him best and loved him the most. Now, I said before I didn't get to know Dave, not personally, but sitting with Linda, his wife, Melissa, Roxanne, and Mike, his siblings, Tasia, his stepdaughter, I met a man who loved people, who loved connecting, and who certainly loved music. Right at the very beginning, Cantor Marty shared something from the heart. And that's really the first thing that I learned about him. The first thing that any of you said about him was his love of music. A family that loved music together, but music was an inspiration. Jazz, classical, rock, even crooners, you name a genre of music and he would celebrate it. And as a kid, his enthusiasm for music was shown very clearly by beating everyone at Name That Tune. A good big brother should to some younger siblings would make sure that they were listening to the right FM station, none of that AM stuff. And over years became a wonderful, gifted musician of his own, on his own, even with perfect pitch. He was able to play different instruments and it just came to him, it seems. The same way as he could just fix things. Well, the favorite family story, it seems, was how as a really young kid, he took apart his father's radio clock, if we can remember what a radio clock was. He would take it apart, and the big sister, Melissa, of course, would try and protect him from getting in trouble before Dad found out, but he was able to put it all back together again. And it seems like he was even less than 5 years old when he could do that. I certainly can't do that now at 50. He would put it all back together again. Fixing things was sort of like music for him, kind of came to him. And he could fix anything, but he had a special place for fixing things powered by fuel. That didn't mean he couldn't fix the problems with the well water in Linda's house in Dillon. But what was it for him? Was it the puzzle of putting things back together again? Was it his love of speed? Could it have been both? He was an adventurous spirit, to be sure. Motorcycles, skis, getting a pilot license and flying, trucks, cars, snowmobiles, rebuilding sleepers, another term that I learned from your family story. simple cars on the outside, but totally rebuilt and pretty fast on the inside. Eventually, Dave became a master mechanic, working for different shops, traveling to Germany to train at Mercedes-Benz. And one of my favorite stories so far, just so far, because I think the more I talk with this family, the more I'm going to hear joyful, wonderful stories, was how he taught Tasia how to drive in a Porsche that was in the shop. It wasn't his Porsche. It was one of his clients' Porsches. And naturally, to make a good story, Tasia needed to get a scratch on the client's car. But there was no worries. He was able to fix it. And he was a good guy. So of course he told the owner, and he gave all of us a very sweet story. Eventually, he told Linda. That might have taken a day or two. And frankly, I don't blame him. Musician and mechanic, even a master cook. He fed everyone well all the time, never seemed hard to do it. There's a creative side to Dave. There was something that he was able to see in the world that a lot of us just haven't been able to see or sense. Maybe it was that New Orleans that was built into him, built into his DNA. Maybe it was the hospitality side of him that wanted to engage with others and build a connection. All of it, the food, the music, the lifestyle, the joy. It was open, social, a place where you could live fully. And that's really describes who he was. Even the outdoors was a part of his celebration of life. Fishing held a special place for him, a place where he could relax and regroup in nature. But New Orleans was a great place for live music, to be up front and center, just like you shared with me, to lots of concerts. I think he was kind of up front and center for lots of life. And for those concerts in New Orleans, another key memory, something which is another interesting new fact for me, was to follow a musician named Buckwheat Zydeco, an American accordionist and Zydeco musician. And as the whole family is explaining this, I'm wondering to myself, what's Zydeco? And I had to Google it. So I know some of you might ask, what is Zydeco? Well, a blend of I'm reading this, a blend of Louisiana French accordion music and Afro-Caribbean beats. And it sat at the crossroads of Creole, Cajun, gospel, and the blues. And that tells me that Dave was really something else. Dave was really something else, bringing worlds together, bringing music together, bringing people together, even bringing us together. That's the background where he proposed to Linda. New Orleans was a big part of who he was. That's where he grew up, went to school, embraced his way of life, even proposed. And going through life, it was sweet David Sugar. Sweet David Sugar. Sociable, hospitable, perhaps taking from his mom how he wanted people to feel at home. And aside from music and his desire for adventure, for his connection to animals of all kinds, nature, he loved his family. He loved you. He knew Linda for years, and Tasia since she was just 1 year old. And when the time was right, later in life, to marry and join them as a family was a gift for all of you. For growing up in a family where music was dynamic and respect and honor for parents was profound, and where Jewish connections were important. There's many blessings and sweet memories that made you folks laugh hysterically and shed a tear. All of that is holy. His siblings shared how he taught a lot about life, even through his own struggles. And what did he teach? What has he left? Never give up. He taught about living life. Live a little bit more in the moment. He always wanted to learn more, to express his curiosity. And it wasn't always easy. None of our relationships are always easy, but with lifelong friends, some in Dillon, some from Baton Rouge, others in California, lifelong friends, deep friends, people who cared for him around the country, for those he cared for. We can all learn great lessons, all the more so now in this period of COVID. Life is short. It's too short. Life is precious. It's delicate. How can we embrace our loved ones and ourselves to live a life that is authentic, generous, and meaningful? So maybe in his honor, find an old turntable, play some records over and over and over again so that they wear out and the needle breaks, and find some love in the world and share it back. Be hospitable, safely for now, distanced and masked. Take care of each other. Throughout his life, David Sugar brought light and life. He enjoyed the years that were his, looking forward to each new happiness shared with those around him. Despite difficulty and struggle, again and again, he rekindled that light. His life was a Hanukkah, a dedication to live, to life, and to the living. May his memory be an enduring blessing. Friends, Cantor is going to join us again and be focused on your screens, because our next prayer is a prayer for someone who has died. It's called El Malei Rachamim, which means God who is full of compassion. And so Cantor Marty is going to take over and lead again.
As Rabbi mentioned, this beautiful prayer not only asks to protect Dave's soul, but that he should intercede for us and maybe put in a good one for us wherever he's going. And I pray that that is true. I love his name, David Ari, two very powerful names. David HaMelech, one of the great Jews in history. He also wasn't perfect. He had an interesting life, King David. Too many wives and too much trouble. But he also accomplished incredible things. And Ari, Melissa, you know that I love and teach Kabbalah, and the Ari was Rabbi Isaac Luria, one of the great lights of history. So he has two pretty incredible names, David Ari, and your dad, Menachem Yecheskel. You know, a doctor can be just a clinical person, or they can be a source of comfort as well. And Menachem means comfort, and Max certainly was a man of comfort. El Malrachamim Shochen Bamiromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanefei Ashechina V'malot Kedoshi U'Yarim Kezar Arakia Mazehirim Et Nishmat David Ari Ben Menachem Yecheskel Verut She'alach Leolamo began Eden, oy began Eden, Tei menuchato, anabal alachamim, הסתירני ובסתר כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו אדוני הוא נחלתו וינוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר together amen amen.
God, who is full of compassion, Eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to David Ari ben Menachem, Yechezkel Verut. He has entered eternity, God of mercy. Let him find refuge in the shadow of your wings. Let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. Let us all say, Amen. For our friends at Feldman's, if you can help arrange for the casket to be lowered. Tzur tamim pa'alo ki chol derachav mishpat el emunah ve'ein avel tzadik v'yashar hu. Hatzur tamim b'chol po'al miyomar lo ma'tifal sheli b'matav u'ma'al mimit u'mechayer. Orit sha'ol ve'ya'al hatzur tamim b'chol ma'aseh miyomar lo ma'taseh tzadik ata Adonai la'amit u'l'chayot asher v'yadcha b'gdon kol ruchot chalila lecha zichronenu lemchot. Vayuna inecha berachamim aleinu pikuchot ki lecha Adonai rachamim v'haslichot. God is sure, our immovable rock, all God's work is upright. Who can say what is it that you do? The Eternal governs what is above and what is below, overseeing both the valleys of death and the heights of life. God is sure, our immovable rock. Who can say to God, what will you do? You are righteous in your dealings in both death and life, and every soul is in your trust.
Rabbi, as the casket is being lowered, I'd like to sing a little bit of that beautiful psalm that you read a bit of before the Shir LaMa'alot.
Sure.
Shir LaMa'alot Esainai el Harim Me'ayin Me'ayin Yavo Ezri Me'im Adonai Oser Shamayim V'aretz Al Yiten Lamod Raglecha Al Yanum Shomerecha Hine Lo Yanum Lo Yishan Shomei Yisrael Adonai Shomrecha V'metzilcha Yad Yeminecha Yomam העולם השמש לא יככו, והירח בלילה.
Amnu kamo yavo shalom. May David come to his eternal home in peace. The dust returns to the earth as it was, and the soul returns to God who gave it. It is now only the house of the soul which we now lay within the earth. Soul itself cannot ever die. Receive in mercy, O God, the soul of our beloved Dave. Grant him that everlasting peace which you have prepared for us in the world to come. God, help us to understand that grief and love go hand in hand, that the pain which loss inflicts is the measure of a love stronger than death. Though we cry in the anguish of our hearts, may we be like children who know that their parent is near and who cling unafraid to a trusted hand. In this spirit, O God, do we commit all that is precious to us to your keeping, as we repeat these words hallowed by the generations. We are going to be saying words of Kaddish. And hopefully you have the text from our friends. And Kaddish is not a prayer about death or dying. It's praising God's name. We say it for those who can't do it themselves. That's just another way on how we show love and respect and honor. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
V'yamad yivrach chirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'meru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivarach Le'olam Omei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yitalal Shmei D'Kurusha B'richu. Le'ela min kol be'erchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'meru. Amen.
Amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimeru. Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mroma, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimeru. Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn, comfort to the bereaved here and everywhere. And again we say Amen. Amen, amen. The last part of our service is to take a bit of the earth. For those who are there, to take a little bit of the earth, even if it's just in your hands, and place it over the grave. It's, our tradition says we bury our dead, and it's an act of honor and respect and love, one for which we can never be thanked. So if you folks are able and choose, you can go and do that. For those that are with us on YouTube and following along, there has been Shiva Minions and evening services that HEA, the Hebrew Educational Alliance, is going to be leading. Well, I'll tell some more about that in a little bit. During this time of COVID and our commitment to keep everyone safe as best as we can and to have as little risk as possible, I'm glad we've been able to use this technology, and grateful to Feldman's Mortuary for helping but we all know it's not the way we want it to be. We should be able to embrace and show up and take care of each other in person. We should be able to, all of us, to be able to take care of this last sacred obligation for Dave. And there's no shortcuts here, but we have to do it differently. And we're sorry about that. We are. So for all of you, I'm going to say that it's still time to show up, even if it's through a screen. That mourning during this pandemic is much different and a different kind of painful than it would have been if we could gather in person. So when we gather at times like this, even in our tradition, we don't thank people for coming. It's what we're supposed to do. So whether it's the few in person or on YouTube, I'm going to encourage all of you to continue to show up because your friends need you. This family needs you. There are Shiva Minions evening services that are going to be tonight and tomorrow night that Hebrew Educational Alliance is going to be leading. Sunday night and Monday night, 2 more services that Congregation Har Hashem is going to be leading. The folks at Feldman's will have all of these links for these online services for those who are able to show up and continue to show up. And even beyond these days, even beyond this period of Shiva, I hope we're all able to do our part for this family, to all of them, wherever they might be. And for all of you, we encourage you to be well and stay safe. And for the family here, we wish you continued strength. And may Dave's memory be an enduring blessing and his legacy about life continue to kindle light for all of you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Drive safe.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
See you soon, please, God. Roxanne and Mike, take care. I'm sorry I can't see you.
Yes, indeed.
Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Rabbi.
Rabbi. Thank you, Cantor. Take care.
Thank you all.
Rabbi, it's so nice to be with you. We'll see you soon, okay?
Very good. You take care of yourself.
Take care, bro.